At the height of his Hollywood career, the magnetic Richard Gere, star of such masterpieces as Pretty Woman and An Officer and a Gentleman, seemed to disappear from the public eye. For years, his abrupt departure was a mystery, leaving followers to speculate endlessly. That was until his kid, who is now 24 years old, finally spoke up and confirmed our worst suspicions. Where did Gere's career go from here? Come along as we hear from Richard Gere's son about the reasons for his father's declining acting career. And do you know the legend of Richard Gere? Leave an A in the comments if you do. The early days of Richard Gere. Richard Gere was a household name for half a century because of his tremendous film career. It is essential to discuss Richard Gere's early life, the events surrounding it, and how they led up to recent events before delving into the specifics of his son's admission. Richard Tiffany Gere came into this world in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, on the 31st of August 1949. He was the second of 5 children brought up in a Methodist household in Syracuse, New York. Homer George Gere was an insurance agent by trade, while Doris Ann stayed at home to raise their son. Gere came from a humble family that valued community and had strong ethical principles. Richard Gere's surname was originally Gere, but it was altered to Gere by his paternal great-grandfather, George Lane Gere. His ancestors came to America in the 16th and 17th centuries. George Gere was an ancestor of Richard Gere, who arrived in the Connecticut colony in 1638. He was an Englishman. His parents were both descendants of the Mayflower. Francis Eaton, John Billington, and William Brewster were among his Pilgrim ancestors. He showed a strong aptitude for performing arts from an early age. His musical abilities were showcased in school bands and church choruses, where he learned to play many instruments, including the piano and trumpet. During his time at North Syracuse Central High School, Gere excelled in the classroom and on the sports field. He attended UMass Amherst on a gymnastics scholarship thanks to his exceptional performance on the mat. His interest, nevertheless, was piqued by more than simply athletics. Philosophy and literature both captivated him to the same extent. Gere attended UMass Amherst to study philosophy, but he was immediately captivated by the theater. He decided to change his degree to theater after being attracted by the transformational potential of performing. Participating in a plethora of college performances, he embraced the world of theater. As a result of his hard work and skill, he rose to prominence in the university's theatrical department. Gere made a daring choice in 1969 when he decided to pursue acting full-time and quit college before finishing his degree. He moved to New York City, the epicenter of American theater, to chase his dreams. His early years in New York were characterized by determination and tenacity despite the challenging journey. He took on various odd jobs to support himself while auditioning for roles in theater productions. Stage roles in plays such as Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead launched his acting career in the early 1970s. His Broadway debut was in the 1971 rock opera Soon by Scott Fagan and Joe Kukulis, which ran for 3 performances at the Ritz Theatre before closing. The London production of Grease, a musical, cast Gere as Danny Zuko in 1973. He was able to secure more substantial possibilities because of the critical praise and compelling performance he gave. After his breakout performance in Grease, he went on to star in Habeas Corpus on Broadway and a string of off-Broadway shows. He won a Theatre World Award for his 1,979 Broadway performance as a gay Holocaust victim in Bent, making him one of the first famous Hollywood actors to portray a homosexual role. Theatrical work was where Gere first made an impression as an actor, and his skill was immediately apparent. However, what was his major break, and how did he break into film roles? Career in Hollywood. It was at the theater that Gere first gained the attention of Hollywood, where he quickly became famous. His breakthrough part came in Terrence Malick's 1978 feature, Days of Heaven, but he had his cinematic debut in 1977's Looking for Mr. Goodbar. Acting brilliantly as Bill, a dashing but disturbed farm laborer, he launched a successful cinematic career. His breakthrough performance was as the dashing male escort Julian Kay in the 1980 film American Gigolo. His acting chops were on full display in this part, which also cemented his status as a sex symbol. His portrayal of the multifaceted character catapulted him to stardom overnight. In 1982, Gere was featured in An Officer and a Gentleman, the sequel to American Gigolo. The picture, in which he portrayed a Navy aviation officer, received critical praise and helped propel Gere to celebrity, earning about $300 million. With 2 academic accolades out of 6 nominations, the picture cemented his position as a leading man in Hollywood and was a huge success. His on-screen connection with Deborah Winger and the unforgettable moments of the film, including the last scene in which he takes her out of the factory, will go down in film history books. Gere's career is remarkable for the breadth and depth of his work. He has played a variety of parts, from dramatic protagonists to romantic leads. His portrayal of Julia Roberts in Pretty Woman is often considered a fan favorite. His explosive on-screen chemistry with Roberts contributed to the film's extraordinary success and solidified its place as one of the most memorable romantic comedies ever. As his career began to turn around in the 90s, he kept playing a wide variety of parts. Playing a defense attorney in the 1996 film Primal Fear gave him the chance to demonstrate his dramatic range while delving into the intricacies of the judicial system. He won a Golden Globe for Best Actor in 1996 for his portrayal of the charismatic but deceptive lawyer Billy Flynn in the film Chicago. The success of the film confirmed his flexibility and talent for musical parts. He worked with Julia Roberts again in the 1999 film Runaway, which was based on their role in Pretty Woman. In 1997's suspense film The Jackal, he portrayed Declan Mulqueen, a former IRA military officer. For the part, he had to adopt an Irish accent. Gere was crowned People magazine's Sexiest Man Alive in 1999. Shortly thereafter, he starred in the 2002 smash blockbuster The Mothman Prophecies and the same year's critically acclaimed musical adaptation, Chicago. His 2004 drama about ballroom dancing, Shall We Dance, made $170 million globally. Despite the financial failure of his subsequent feature, Season, which was based on a book, Gere's career kept moving forward as he took on increasingly difficult and diverse parts. His dedication to nuanced people and interesting stories was on full display in films like 2006's The Hoax, 2016's Norman, The Gradual Ascent and Catastrophic Fall of a New York Fixer, and Arbitrage. He co-starred with Diana Lane in the romantic drama Nights in Rodantha. Critics widely panned the film, yet it grossed over $84 million worldwide. In the 2012 film Arbitrage, Gere earned a Golden Globe Award nomination for his portrayal of businessman Robert Miller. He also appeared in the unsettling drama The Benefactor in 2015, in which he played a wealthy drug addict who wheedles and bribes his way into the lives of a couple. Among many positive reviews, Peter Travers of Rolling Stone cited Gere's performance as too good to ignore. Also in the same year, he received the Golden Starfish Award for Lifetime Achievement from the Hamptons International Film Festival and the Career Achievement Award from the Hollywood Film Awards. The 34th Cairo International Film Festival has already presented him with an accolade in December 2010. Variety recognized his performance as Oppenheimer as a strong candidate for an academic prize. In addition to his fame in Hollywood, he has made a name for himself via his charitable work. He has been active with several nonprofits and is known for his advocacy of human rights, especially in Tibet. People outside of the entertainment business like and appreciate him for his commitment to these issues. In addition to being a talented singer and songwriter, he played guitar solo in Runaway Bride and penned the piano theme for Pretty Woman. He trained in karate for An Officer and a Gentleman and tap dancing for his part as Billy Flynn, a lawyer in Chicago. At the height of his fame, something unexpected occurred that nearly lost Gere all his hard work, but his career continued to rise thereafter. The specifics of this incident need to be explained. The rise and fall of Richard Gere. Richard Gere was formerly one of Hollywood's most famous A-listers. Because of his magnetic personality and consistent critical and public acclaim, the actor had a great level of success. He proved his acting mettle in a wide variety of films, from romantic comedies to exciting dramas, over 2 decades. Since he was in his 20s, he had also been a devout Tibetan Buddhist. While visiting Nepal in the 1970s, he crossed paths with several Tibetan monks and, eventually, the Dalai Lama, whom he befriended. His performances in Primal Fear, American Gigolo, and An Officer and a Gentleman, among others, solidified his position as a legendary actor and leading man in the 80s and 90s. But the Hollywood industry is unpredictable, and performers may see their hard-won celebrity evaporate in an instant. It would appear that Gere's career has leveled off in the past 3 decades. Many of his admirers have noticed that he has been less prominent in big Hollywood films over the last several decades. A lot of people were wondering why he wasn't as present on huge screens after this change. In your opinion, what became of Gere's acting career? The actor claims that China has become a very dangerous rival. Hollywood has banned the actor because he spoke out against human rights crimes. Gere has been an outspoken critic of China's leadership and a leading voice in the fight for Tibetan independence. There have been professional consequences to this activity. When China annexed Tibet in the 1990s, Gere was a vocal opponent of the move. At the 1993 Academy Awards, he went somewhat off script by criticizing the terrible human rights situation in China when presenting the Best Art Director award. Chinese financiers and producers have considerable power in Hollywood, and he said that his position on Tibet has caused them to essentially blacklist him. Hollywood studios are understandably wary of upsetting the Chinese government, which has the potential to affect casting choices and film funding in light of China's rapidly growing market and economy. Gere has had a hard time landing parts in high-budget Hollywood films because of this blacklisting. Hollywood is becoming more and more dependent on the Chinese market for box office earnings, which might make performers with a reputation for contentious political viewpoints a liability. In multiple interviews, he has claimed that Chinese influence has prevented him from landing roles in any Hollywood studio movies. "There are definitely movies that I can't be in because the Chinese will say, 'Not with him,'" Gere told The Hollywood Reporter in 2017. "I recently had an episode where someone said they could not finance a film with me because it would upset the Chinese." Despite the challenges in mainstream Hollywood, Richard Gere has not disappeared from the acting scene. Instead, he has embraced independent films. He said he wasn't upset about not being given the roles for blockbusters. "I'm not interested in playing the wizened Jedi on your tent pole," he said. "I was successful enough in the last 3 decades that I can afford to do these smaller films now." He focused his attention on smaller projects, which he claimed he enjoyed even more. Gere persisted in speaking out against China, even after being blacklisted for a while. A call for a boycott of the 2008 Beijing Olympics was one among his many demands that China recognize Tibet's independence. In his numerous interviews, he maintains his criticism of China and his support for the Tibetan cause through the Gere Foundation. He is no longer allowed to visit China for the rest of his life. The importance Gere places on his personal and charitable pursuits is another important element that may have impacted his acting career. His philanthropic endeavors have received a significant amount of his time and money. His dedication to political and social problems is shown through his work with groups such as the Gere Foundation and the International Campaign for Tibet. Since he began studying Buddhism in his early 20s, he discussed the importance of maintaining a healthy work-life balance in an interview he gave to The Lion's Roar in 1999. "Working a regular 9-to-5 job is making it harder and harder for me to reflect on and internalize life's lessons. My insecurities and hidden parts would remain hidden from view if I didn't venture out into the marketplace." Gere was prominently active in politics and activism while pursuing an acting career. His political efforts will be detailed here. Political view and activism. Although Richard Gere is most known for his work in Hollywood, he has also accomplished much in the realms of politics and humanitarianism. In his political career, he has often fought for the rights of underprivileged groups, the environment, and human rights. In the 1990s, he started to take an interest in global human rights concerns and Buddhism, which shaped his political engagement. Gere, a devout Buddhist, has been an outspoken critic of China's Tibet policy and a strong advocate for Tibetan independence. His support for Tibet is among his most notable and long-lasting causes. He has been an unwavering advocate for the Dalai Lama and has done tremendous work to raise awareness about the situation in Tibet on a global scale. Speaking out against human rights abuses in the region and regularly appearing at pro-Tibet protests, he has leveraged his reputation to his advantage. He oversaw the International Campaign for Tibet's Human Rights and Democratic Freedoms initiatives while serving as its chairman of the board of directors. Additionally, he was a co-founder of the Tibet House in New York, an organization that promotes and educates about Tibetan culture to conserve it. Outside of Tibetan matters, Gere is also an activist. He has used his celebrity to promote change in several political and social arenas. He rose to prominence in the 1990s as an outspoken supporter of HIV, AIDS education, and care. He collaborated with groups to bring attention to the epidemic's effects in India and solicit donations to alleviate them. Human rights in Burma are another cause that Gere has fought for. Against the repressive rule of the military dictatorship, he has voiced his support for democratic movements. He grabbed everyone's attention in 1993 when he brought attention to the situation in Tibet at the Academy Awards. A temporary embargo on his participation in future Academy Awards ceremonies ensued from his speech, in which he blasted the Chinese government and demanded more attention and action. In his testimony before Congress and meetings with other political figures, Gere has spoken out on human rights and democratic freedoms as they pertain to U.S. foreign policy about Asia. Gere has been a vocal supporter of environmental and human rights movements. He is an outspoken supporter of environmental causes and groups that work to preserve our planet's natural resources and slow the rate of climate change. His activism and philanthropy work hand in hand. The Gere Foundation, which he founded, provides funding to many organizations. Many education and health initiatives, especially in neglected areas of the globe, have received funding from the foundation. Because he appreciated culture's power to unite and define people, he has also given financial assistance to cultural and artistic endeavors. Richard Gere's involvement has persisted in recent years. The rights of migrants and refugees have been strongly championed by him. He has toured refugee camps and campaigned for measures that help those in need. He has brought attention to the problem of homelessness in the United States and has pushed for more effective laws and programs to help those in need. As someone who has collaborated with several humanitarian groups, such as Doctors Without Borders and Amnesty International, Gere has always been committed to helping others, which is a commendable quality. Maybe he's just happy where he is and doesn't need the fame and fortune that Hollywood brings. Every aspect of Gere's life has been scrutinized ever since he began his acting career. But despite that, few know anything about his private life, particularly his romances. When it comes to the actor's private life, how much are you aware of? Personal life. During the 1970s, as Richard Gere was beginning to establish himself as a prominent figure in the entertainment industry, his love life began to garner the attention of the general public. Gere's first high-profile engagement was with actress Penelope Milford, whom he dated from 1971 to 1978. Before that, he had a series of romances with a variety of models and actresses. His rise to prominence in the film business corresponded with the duration of this relationship, during which he appeared in films such as Looking for Mr. Goodbar and Days of Heaven. Until they decided to end their relationship, they had a relationship that was on and off. After a few months had passed since his breakup with Milford, he started dating Sylvia Martins, and they remained together until 1986. During their relationship, Gere had several other women in his life, including Tuesday Weld, Carol Mallory, Dawn Steele, Lori Rodkin, and a great number of others. In addition, it is said that he had relationships with models Laura Bailey, Tina Chow, and Dyla De Lazaro. Beginning in the early 1990s, Gere's romantic life became the focus of attention when he began a relationship with the supermodel Cindy Crawford. The wedding took place in 1991 and was well publicized. The pair tied the knot. Both the couple's demanding occupations and the heavy attention from the media were major contributors to the severe difficulties that the couple's marriage encountered, even though they presented a glossy public image. In 1995, they filed for divorce, alleging conflicts that could not be reconciled. Both Gere and Crawford have expressed their admiration and regard for one another in the years that have passed since their breakup. They have frequently reflected on the amount of strain that comes with being a high-profile couple. He tied the knot with Carrie Lowell, an actor and former model, in the year 2002. Both the couple's interests in Buddhism and their commitment to helping others made them appear to be a good match. In the year 2000, around 2 years before their marriage, they became parents to a boy named Homer James Jigme Gere. But in 2013, after 11 years of marriage, they decided to go their separate ways. The ensuing divorce processes were drawn out and difficult to understand, and they were brought to a conclusion in the year 2016. During his time with Alejandra Silva, a Spanish activist, Richard Gere experienced a second love. In April 2018, the couple tied the knot, and since then, they have been blessed with 2 kids, who were born in 2019 and 2020. The fact that Gere and Silva are both deeply committed to humanitarian issues is the source of their profound connection, even though they are 33 years apart in age. Silva, much like Gere, has a history of activism, with a particular emphasis on several concerns, including the welfare of refugees and the homeless. He first became interested in Buddhism while he was in his 20s, and he has maintained a strong interest in the religion ever since. The first thing he did was study Zen Buddhism under Kyozan Joshu Sasaki so that he could follow his newly discovered passion. Having studied Zen for 5 or 6 years, he decided to travel to Nepal in 1978 with Slivia Martins, his girlfriend, who was a Brazilian painter, where he met many Tibetan monks and lamas. He also met the 14th Dalai Lama in India, and he became a practicing Tibetan Buddhist and active supporter of the Dalai Lama. Due to the issues Gere faced as a result of his statement against the Chinese, his son Homer James opened up about how he truly feels. Keep watching as we go into details. Homer James Gere. Homer James Jigme Gere was born in February 2000 to Richard Gere and his then-wife, actress Carrie Lowell. As the child of a famous man, Homer has often been shielded from the public eye, which has allowed him to grow up with a degree of normalcy uncommon for children of celebrities. His upbringing has been a blend of luxury and privacy, ensuring he has opportunities while maintaining a sense of humility. From the outset, Richard was determined to provide Homer with a grounded upbringing, far removed from the world of Hollywood. Despite his global fame, Gere prioritized fatherhood and was often seen accompanying Homer to school, attending his soccer games, and participating in everyday activities that any father would. As Homer grew older, he became aware of the oddities that were associated with his father via his observations. Richard was difficult to miss due to the continual attention he received, the fact that people approached him for signatures, and the fact that he appeared on television frequently. For Homer, however, his father was just his father. He was a caring parent who read tales to him before sleep, assisted him with his homework, and allowed him to experience endless moments of adventure. In an interview with Vanity Fair Spain that took place in March 2024, Richard Gere revealed that Homer Gere struggled to fathom the popularity that his father had achieved. Richard stated that it is difficult for him to see me on television because, even when I portray extreme roles, I am still his father. Additionally, this makes it difficult for him to get into the tale. Gere continued by revealing that he does not attend premieres or see his films. He also mentioned that neither his wife nor his oldest son, Homer, who is 24 years old, had watched a significant number of his films. The 75-year-old man revealed that he was concerned that he would not be able to live long enough to witness the development of his young boys. In the year 2020, Richard Gere delivered a shocking announcement to the entire world. He was expecting his third kid. In the presence of his third wife, Alejandra Gere, who was 37 years old at the time and 33 years younger than him, the grateful father welcomed the child into the world. Sources claim that Gere chose not to have further children earlier because he desired to wait until he found the person he was meant to be with after he divorced his first wife, Carrie Lowell. With Alejandra Silva, he finally found the lady he was looking for after 7 years of searching, and he eventually tied the knot with her. Gere was suffering from an ailment that hurt his life and activities at the same time, as his worries were growing. Specifically, what type of disease did the actor have to deal with? Richard Gere's health. In general, Gere has maintained the confidentiality of his health information. On the other hand, the problems with his health were brought to the public's attention in 2023 when it was announced that Gere had pneumonia. It was on his vacation in Mexico with his family when the event took place. The occasion was to commemorate the 41st birthday of his wife, Alejandra Silva. On this journey, he started to have symptoms of illness. According to the news website TMZ, which was the first to disclose the news, the Pretty Woman actor had acquired a severe cough, which prompted him to check himself into a hospital. The hospital eventually determined that the actor had pneumonia during his stay there. Gere was admitted to the hospital and remained there until the following morning. And then he was released. Prescription antibiotics were given to him to aid in his recovery. Alejandra Silva, his wife, provided an update on their health on social media on their situation. "All of you are kind to wish me a happy birthday. My family has been ill for about 3 weeks, and now, after everyone in our family has been sick, I finally feel considerably better. Because of all the affection, I am grateful. I am relinquishing everything to you." It is recommended that you read the Instagram post that Silva published on Thursday. A significant amount of attention was paid by the media as well as by Gere's fan base when they heard about his condition. In a letter, Richard's wife stated that her husband is doing considerably better. We are all experiencing a significant improvement in our health. It's almost back to normal now. We would like to express our gratitude to Dr. Rios, who is now working at the hospital in La Jolla. We traveled to Mexico to carry on with the conservation project that we were working on south of Puerto Vallarta. The entire group arrived from New York, feeling ill. James and Richard, our youngest children, were diagnosed with pneumonia, while Alexander and I were diagnosed with sinusitis and ear infections. Everyone is doing well now, and we have virtually completely healed. He has been nominated for and won several accolades and nominations during his decades-long career as an actor. Gere continues to be engaged in his activities, particularly his humanitarian activity, despite the difficulties he is experiencing with his health. Let's have a look at the honors presented to the actor. Awards and honors. A career that stretched more than half a century was one that Richard Gere had loved. Several prizes and distinctions had been bestowed upon him as a result of his remarkable achievement. In recognition of his performance in Pretty Woman, Gere was nominated for a Golden Globe Award in the category of Best Actor in a Motion Picture Musical or Comedy in the year 1991. As a result of his performance in Chicago, he was awarded the Golden Globe for Best Actor in a Motion Picture Musical or Comedy. Another award that Richard Gere received was a Screen Actors Guild SAG Award for his role in the film Chicago. Together with the rest of the ensemble cast of Chicago, he was awarded the Screen Actors Guild Award for Outstanding Performance by a Cast in a Motion Picture in the year 2003. This acknowledgement highlighted the overall skill of the film's actors, as well as the essential position that Gere played inside the picture for the audience. Additionally, Gere's work in indie films has garnered a lot of attention. For his performance in the film I'm Not There, he was awarded the Independent Spirit Award for Best Male Lead in the year 2008. Outside of his work as an actor, Richard Gere has received a great deal of recognition for his contributions to the humanitarian sector, notably in the areas of human rights and Tibetan matters. In recognition of his dedication to environmental and humanitarian problems, Gere was presented with the Humanitarian Award by the Children's Health Environmental Coalition. She was honored with the Marian Anderson Award, which is given to artists whose leadership contributes to the betterment of society. He was honored for his advocacy and commitment to the cause of human rights with this award. In 2012, the George Eastman Museum presented Gere with the George Eastman Award in recognition of the significant contribution he has made to the field of film photography. This award honored not just his accomplishments in the film industry, but also his contributions to charitable causes. The Medallion of the City of Rome was bestowed upon him in 2015 inches, a recognition of his services to the film industry, as well as his humanitarian work. The recognition he received globally and the influence he had on the world were both recognized in this award. The hilarious Hasty Pudding Theatricals Man of the Year Award was bestowed upon Richard Gere by the Theatrical Society of Harvard University in the year 2009. The recipient of this award was recognized for his ability to fascinate audiences as well as his long-term effect on the entertainment industry. During the World Economic Forum in Davos, he was presented with the Crystal Award in recognition of his significant contributions to the advancement of human rights and peace. Gere has been recognized for his services to the film business and humanitarian causes through several Lifetime Achievement Awards, even though he has not yet been nominated for an Academy Award. In 2012, the Hollywood Film Awards presented him with the Career Achievement Award in recognition of the significant contributions he has made to the film industry throughout his career. During the Sarajevo Film Festival in 2019, Gere was honored with the Honorary Heart of Sarajevo. This honor was bestowed upon him in recognition of his remarkable contributions to the field of filmmaking, as well as his humanitarian activities. Not only is Richard Gere's career distinguished by his captivating performances and massive box office hits, but it is also distinguished by the profound influence he has had on several humanitarian issues. His legacy will live on in the entertainment business, as well as in the humanitarian work that is being done all around the world. He continues to be an inspiration. Regarding the reason that Richard Gere was placed on the blacklist, what are your thoughts? Provide your feedback in the comment area below. Remember to click on the next video that appears on your screen, give this video a thumbs up, and subscribe to our channel so that you can receive more updates.